Hannah.
And I'm Jeremy. Before we started our travel vlog, we started adventuring to some of Florida's, let's say, weird places. We're both native Floridians, and we have pretty much lived in the Tampa Bay area for our entire lives, except from college.
I've had this weird Florida book since I was in college, so we did a little bit more research on some of the places that we've gone rather than our normal quick Google search and then kind of making it up as we go.
One of the reasons why we started this travel vlog was to be able to relive our past journeys and to be able to share adventures with our friends. So let's talk about a few places that we've been before we started vlogging. The first place on our list is called Spook Hill. It's located in central Florida in Lake Wales. And if you're heading over to the Bach Tower and Gardens, it's just a quick stopover.
The legend of Spook Hill goes something like this. Ages ago, the town was plagued by a huge gator, very Florida, and a great warrior chief and the gator were killed during their final battle. The chief was buried on the north side of the hill. The later pioneers found that their horses were laboring here, and at the foot of the ridge, they called it Spook Hill.
So what you're supposed to do is place your car in neutral and let it roll back. We were never able to figure it out, but I have read that what you can try and do is get out of your car, and it might work better. Because when you are going what seems to be downhill, it can be harder than when you're going uphill. There is a sign that kind of gives you instructions and tells you what to do. So let us know if it works for you.
The next stop on our list is Dinosaur World. I made Jeremy visit Dinosaur World with me 1 year for my birthday. I used to drive past it every day on my way to work, and it is right off of I-4 in Plant City. And it seemed like a roadside treasure. The tickets were about $24 each, so it was a little steep for a walkthrough attraction.
But it's cool. They have models of all sorts of dinosaurs, and they create little natural vegetation areas for them to hang out in. There's a dino dig, and then we even cracked a geode.
It is also right across the street from the Keel and Curly Winery, so you can choose to visit whichever one in whichever order seems right for you.
And side note, depending on the time of year, it's actually cool because the Keel and Curly Winery also does like blueberry picking and things like that, so you can pick some fresh blueberries.
As a snack.
A little snack. The Devil's Mill Hopper. One of our recent trips right before we started the vlog was to the Devil's Mill Hopper. It's just outside of Gainesville, and it was just a little bit of a drive for a single day, but it's still very, very cool. The Devil's Mill Hopper is actually a sinkhole, which they believe probably started forming about 10 to 15,000 years ago.
It is called that because the early homesteaders of Florida in this region found that the sink resembled a large mill hopper, which could feed grain into the Devil's Mill at the center of the earth, thus the name Devil's Mill Hopper. We seem to have a theme because there are a bunch of other places in Florida named devils, like the Devil's Eye, which is a spring, the Devil's
Den.
The Devil's Den, which is like a spring in a cave. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what that's all about, but
yeah,
sure.
I'm really sure. A little weird, but we'll go with it. Yeah. Gatorland. We stopped off at Gatorland last spring on the way home from Daytona. And Gatorland is definitely a treasure of roadside America. Just a little bit south of Orlando, they call themselves the alligator capital of the world. Originally opened in 1949, and their big draw was gator wrestling. And a huge crocodile weighing over 1,000 pounds named the Bone Crusher.
When we were there, we watched a huge alligator jump like 6 feet out of a pond. We also saw a Florida panther. They even have some albino alligators. St. Augustine. The next place on our list is St. Augustine. St. Augustine is such a historic city, it is bound to have some oddities. Claiming to be the oldest city in the United States, you can literally visit a military fort made out of crushed seashells, also known as coquina. You can visit a haunted prison, but no longer home to any prisoners.
You can drink from the Fountain of Youth to keep you from aging, which it's worked for us, clearly. Yeah. And it also has lots of peacocks, which was pretty neat. So St. Augustine is also the first place where we ever visited a lighthouse.
When I went for a recent bachelorette trip, we took a ghost tour of the lighthouse after dark. And whether or not you believe in that kind of thing, the tour guides had us 100% convinced.
Key West. So the next place on our list is Key West. And as with St. Augustine, you could really build a whole trip to Key West just to see the weird side. So Key West at one time was its own micronation, having seceded from the US in the 80s, calling themselves the Conch Republic. It was only temporary, so you don't need a passport to visit. You can also see Ernest Hemingway's house, where all of the cats have 6 toes.
There is a doll named Robert who can really mess up your life, apparently, if you're not nice to him. We don't have any photos because I'm not inviting that kind of thing.
Not today. Nope. There's even the most well-known tourist spot, the southernmost point, which is actually not the southernmost point. Because on a map, you can actually see that the southernmost point is actually a little bit further down the block, but makes for a good photo. It's one of those Key West things you just do.
There are plenty of strange and interesting places that we still want to go visit in the future. Like the mermaids at Weeki Wachee, the Coral Castle down near Miami, the Upalaka City Hall, which is based entirely off of an old movie called The Thief of Baghdad. So please leave us a comment with some places and ideas that you'd like us to go see. That definitely will help us kind of do some research and find some interesting places to go.
But there is one place that I think we're going to go to visit today first.
You ready?
Let's go.
Solomon's Castle is the home and life work of sculptor Howard Solomon. The castle covers over 12,000 square feet and stands 3 stories high. Solomon began building the castle in 1972. The castle's reflective surface is covered entirely from discarded aluminum printing plates that came from the local Wauchula newspaper when they closed down. Essentially, the castle serves as an exhibition gallery for several hundreds of his sculptures, the ones that he didn't sell.
The stairs. Take a peek at it now.
The castle also includes a boat in the moat, which is a 60-foot replica of a 16th century Portuguese galleon that serves as the castle's restaurant. After he finished the boat, he also built a lighthouse to handle the overflow from the restaurant. Although Solomon passed away in 2016, there are still 4 generations of Solomons living in the castle.
All right, so...
It took us a really long time to get here.
Well, somebody missed 2 different exits. That would be me. And so it took us a little bit longer. So 2 hours later, here we are, Solomon's Castle.
You have to have cash to do a tour of the inside.
They do in-person tours, but yes, you do have to have cash. It's $16 per person. They have a cool little gift shop. They have the boat in a moat restaurant over there.
So I definitely recommend coming to take a tour so you can see
cool.
what's on the inside.
Judging by what's on the outside, I'm going to say there's some eclectic things on the inside.
Eclectic is a good word for it.
Yeah, what a weird place.
What a weird place.
Yeah.
Please like and subscribe and comment. Tell us what weird places you've been.
Yeah, tell us about them.
Bye, guys.
Huh. Why don't sad?
The Legend of Spook Hill. There is a doll named Robert.
Robert. So this is what happens when you're trying to get just the right shot and you're trying to manage the microphone, the Joby, the gimbal,
I got
the handheld gimbals over here. Okay, so now we can film our outro.